There's a big push going on in this country, if you haven't noticed, supported by members of both parties to produce more and more products in the U.S., and that includes microchips. The U.S. is jumpstarting production to compete with China by using some of your tax dollars to do it. So the question, it's an obvious one, but a key one, is it worth it? Senior business and technology correspondent Gayle King tries to figure that out while getting an exclusive look behind the scenes at a leading chip maker, Intel.
All right. This is the new front line of the global chip wars. At this Intel fabrication plant in Oregon, we suited up to get a closer look at one of the locations where billions of taxpayer dollars will soon be put to work.
This place is just massive. It's the equivalent of 28 football fields.
Intel is one of the biggest chip makers in the world. In the plant, yellow light protects the millions of chips or semiconductors that power nearly all the tech we use.
Inside each one of those boxes, 25 silicon wafers. They travel around this factory, running about 200 miles over 3 to 6 months, going through thousands of steps before they are officially a semiconductor.
CEO Pat Gelsinger says Intel is ramping up production to meet insatiable demand.
Every aspect of human existence is depending more and more on what we do with semiconductors.
It's also a matter of national security. For example, if China were to ever invade Taiwan and block chips made on the island, the worldwide financial impact could amount to more than $1 trillion.
We invented semiconductors. The world now depends on those semiconductors. We have failed to be the leading manufacturer of chips in the world.
To change that, the White House recently awarded Intel $8.5 billion from the CHIPS Act to build more fabrication plants and upgrade others.
You've said that President Biden is pressuring you to build factories faster. What exactly has he told you?
Well, if one factory is good, 2 factories is better. We don't want supply chains to end in the U.S. We want supply chains to begin and end in the U.S.
At the same time, the company is struggling to navigate its own turnaround. And Intel fell short of Wall Street's expectations in its latest earnings report, becoming the worst performing tech stock in the S&P 500 this year.
Why should a taxpayer believe that this is actually going to happen?
If you show up in Ohio today, we have thousands of construction workers today at that site. These aren't empty promises for saying, do we want these factories built in the United States or do you want them built in Asia?
Currently, less than 10% of semiconductors are made in the U.S. Gelsinger's goal, double that by 2030. To catch up, Intel is deploying the first commercial high-NA lithography tool, the most advanced ever made, using a laser that heats material 40 times hotter than the sun. Jeff Birdsall is a general manager at the Oregon fabrication plant.
We'll use this technology to make those devices more power efficient, smaller, and cheaper.
And Intel is pinning its hopes on artificial intelligence, with big-name billionaires shopping for more powerful chips.
You've publicly offered to give Elon Musk a tour of a fabrication plant. You have had multiple conversations with Sam Altman of OpenAI. How important is it to sell Intel chips to these two titans and beyond?
Well, our objective is to be a manufacturer and a partner of every technology company in the industry. But I'd also say that it isn't just Sam and Elon. It's NVIDIA, it's AMD, it's Apple, it's Google. The world needs more global, balanced, resilient, sustainable, trusted supply chains, and Intel wants to be the partner of all of them.
An ambitious bet for the company and the country.
Now, with CHIPS Act funding, Intel says it'll create 10,000 company jobs and 20,000 construction jobs in 4 states. But guys, here's the harsh reality. Making chips here in the U.S. is just so expensive. Intel's foundry business, that new arm of the business that makes chips for other companies, reported an operating loss of $7 billion last year. But the White House and Intel are insisting they need to sink more money, more taxpayer money, into the American supply chain in order to make things safer and cheaper in the long run. We shall see. Nate.
That's very eye-opening. Just like a casino, our future depends on having all of the chips. All right, Jolene, thank you so much. We'll check in with you later.